he said to me many, many years ago, he said, you're a marketer too, because I was an actor in a past life. I went to NYU, Tisch School of the Arts, and
oh my gosh,
so outgoing. And I was like, no, I don't think so. But he trained me. And he and Keith Sherman from Cirque Lodge they're so full of integrity. No matter where any of us worked, if someone called us and they belong somewhere else, we put them somewhere else. That's the key of being a marketer, is you serve the client first, the client's best, and you will always work. And, people will trust you.
Hi, I'm Kym Tolson, and I'm the traveling therapist. It's my passion to teach therapists how to navigate online private practices and multiple income streams so they can travel the world. I'm a digital nomad with a virtual insurance-based private therapy practice and a multi-six-figure coaching business. I'm obsessed with entrepreneurship and developing tools that can help therapists live an adventurous lifestyle. In this podcast, I will discuss my journey as a digital nomad. I'll chat with other traveling therapists and help you navigate the complexities of running an online insurance-based practice. I'm so glad to have you with me on this journey. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Traveling Therapist Podcast. Super excited today to have Colleen Kelly with us. She is a member of the Traveling Therapist Facebook group and super helpful. She's always offering suggestions and helpful content to the new members who are trying to become traveling therapists. So I was really excited when she agreed to come on and do an episode with us because she has a very interesting story that I think a lot of the listeners are going to be thrilled to hear about. So Colleen, welcome. And I love if you would start out with just talking about how you went from being a traditional therapist to a traveling therapist.
Yes. Okay. So my background story was originally growing up, and my dad worked on American Indian reservations in New York State. Mm-hmm. So when I got my master's at Antioch, I worked for 5 years on Indian reservations. So I worked all over from North Dakota, South Dakota, down through California. I worked for the Southern California Indian Center. And then after that, I ended up making a big switch and working at Promises Malibu. So many years I was the director of the family program, very traditional life at the time. Actually, I hired my best friend, who's Dr. Reza Nabavi, and then we opened up Resolutions after in Santa Monica. So we had an office in Santa Monica, and the IOP is still there. He's doing amazing, and very traditional. And then I started working online when my husband and I'm actually 31 years sober in AA, 30 years.
Congratulations.
So, yeah, thank you. He's like my best friend. Very, very similar souls. We traveled constantly. It was just my obsession. So I go to Hawaii all the time. I have two daughters. Now they're 21 and 23, which is crazy. But, we grew up traveling all over California, just, Tahiti once a year, Hawaii, many times. Looked at Pacific Quest in Hawaii. So many times a year, in Hawaii. And so I've been a licensed MFT for 28 years. And, I can tell you the whole time, like when I first got licensed and my babies were tiny and I put in that little Sounds of Spa CD and sat in my office, I was like, no way. This is no way what I'm meant to do. So along with being a therapist, I've always been a therapist. I've also always done marketing and branding for treatment centers. So
interesting.
Yeah, I must have toured, I think 240 treatment centers in the U.S. and abroad, and became a placement expert. So if someone needs any type of mental health, eating disorders, substance abuse, whatever it is, I can help place them and arrange that. So I've done that the whole time along with being a therapist. And then we would come here, my daughters and my husband and I, every summer for vacation in Paris. It was 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, and we'd cry when leaving. And the girls were like, why can't we move here? And I was like, I don't know how you move here. And then once, honestly, can you swear on the podcast?
Yeah, you can say whatever you want. Yeah.
My husband and I were standing by the Seine 8 years ago. And he goes, we could just move here. I said, John, it would be so hard. And he goes, or we could just say, fuck it and do it. And I said, you know what?
Yes.
And it was August and we moved in September. We got an immigration law.
I just got goosebumps. Like in a month, you were like, fuck it. And then you're
1
there.
month. We were vacationing and I said, okay. And I got an apartment and, John came back in September and we were there a couple more months wrapping up school so they could go. They moved at 14 and 16. God bless them.
Oh my gosh.
It's a hard time.
Wow.
Like, here's France, learn the language. And they did it. But we went to an immigration lawyer and my husband was like, I was born here at the American hospital. And he's like, yeah, there's no 14th Amendment. Like no one cares. So we had to do what everyone did. We have work visas.
Okay.
His is a little different than mine. So we got an immigration lawyer and I highly recommend it. The paper, I don't know if every country's like this. In France, it's like a phone book of paperwork.
I've heard this, yes, about other countries too, that it's just like, get a lawyer.
It's so much, it saves you so much time and like not missing one, because they kind of like, they want you to miss that one form to say come back. So you want to go with everything. And my lawyer comes with me to the prefecture. I'm actually going in a couple of weeks again. So we moved here and I originally opened an office. Different countries have different rules for being a therapist. But, France is there's no regulation unless you're a psychologist. So if you're WMFT, anything, you just come here and open, but you have to get a work visa and all that stuff. But the clinical side, there's no site. So the same in the UK. So I came here and I had a little tiny private practice, an office here, just working with expats, not good enough to work in French at the time. And I also was really lucky to hook up with Castle Craig Hospital in, best treatment center literally in Europe, in Scotland. And they also have Smarmore Castle in Ireland. And they have an outpatient in Amsterdam and Sweden, where I was last week.
Oh my gosh.
So I do a lot for them. I did their, actually, this is really cool. I feel like I'm going to be speaking too much.
It's fine. Like, go ahead. Normally I would ask questions, but you're answering them anyway. So
we
go ahead.
Talk for an hour. We find ourselves infinitely fascinating, but they're having they have a reunion every June with like hundreds of people. And they asked me to be the keynote speaker this year. So I'm going to be the keynote.
Wow. That is amazing.
And, I've worked there at Castle Craig. I've worked at their outpatient Catch and I just love that rehab. So I place a lot of people there. And, so that's my life with coming to France and starting out. And, the UK is very easy too. I've worked a lot in the UK. Everything here, it's amazing. It's like an hour away. It's like, or an hour or 2 hours on a flight. It's so great. Me and the girls traveled constantly. And there was a thing called ICAD before, which was like, speaker series, like a conference that traveled all over before COVID. And I was so lucky that Sam Quinlan asked me to be a keynote speaker. And I went to like every major city in Europe. At the time it was great. I spoke about the transgenerational grief from genocide in the American Indian, Northern Irish, and Palestinian community. And that was my talk.
Goodness. Wow, that is amazing.
It was such a great opportunity right before COVID. So a year of traveling doing that. And that's what Castle Craig, I was working for them at that point. Yeah, I was working for them and I was repping as a marketer Cirque Lodge in Utah and Visions Adolescent Program.
Yeah.
So so I was repping them as a marketer. And before I moved, speaking of Hawaii, I got to do the marketing for Pacific Quest in Hawaii. I got to 1 year go to Hawaii every month. And my only job was to bring 5 therapists with us. Such a dream. So much fun.
Oh, that is amazing.
I've always liked to blend like the marketing too and the branding with being a therapist. So then we moved to France and we're here and I'm seeing clients and my friend, I don't know if you know Dr. Steve Danziger. He's one of the biggest EMDR people.
I think I've heard the name.
Yeah, they've written 7 books together. Jamie's, I think, like the head of EMDRIA or something big at EMDRIA. Steve, who I knew from New York City in the 90s, who I knew as Stevie D with long hair as a punk rock drummer. We got sober together. Many years later, he said to me, will you market my company? I was like, what is it? And I'm in Paris. He's like, I want to expand to Europe. So it's called Start Again Associates. And Start Again, we go into a treatment center and we train the whole staff in EMDR. All the therapists in EMDR, get them certified. And we train the whole staff in trauma resilience and mindfulness and then certify them as a trauma center.
Amazing.
We have about 7 sessions we've done. And from speaking at ICAD, a really great guy named Paddy Creedon, who's Irish, saw me and reached out to me. And I hooked up with him and I introduced him to Steve, is now based in Ireland at the Dundalk Institute of Technology and in an incubator program for 5 years with things like Amazon Health and a whole bunch of really cool programs. And the reason we're there, I'm trying to like fit everything in to give you a background, is the other thing Start Again has is we have 16 patents for a technology, which is a haptic technology that it started out being like subwoofers in sneakers, and you pair the music with your Bluetooth iPhone or whatever you're listening to, Bluetooth wireless, and it plays through your whole body. So you could hook it up to your music or gaming or a movie or anything. It's just
is it like a binaural beat or something that's just playing in the background?
You could easily do that.
So it's anything you want to stream
anything. Yeah. If you do, if you play music, it's like you're at a concert, like your chest is pounding. It's in all your cells. So haptic is really growing now. That's my main focus now. After 20 years, I'm kind of leaving. I have like 10 clients left. I'm trying to wind down on the whole therapy thing.
Yes, I understand.
Haptech is my baby. And right now we have a contract with the Veterans Association at the VA in America. And we're doing they're funding 4 studies on Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, PTSD, and anxiety. And so far we've done 3, and it's proven extremely helpful in those. So there's healthcare implications. Yeah.
Yes.
We've had it for 2 years now. We've taken it out of sneakers and we've made insoles with it. So you can put it in any shoe, and we've made floorboards. So any treatment center can have a floorboard, and we've made thin floorboards. So they're using it. One of our South Korean investors is using it in theaters and movie theaters and spas.
Wow.
So it's a floorboard. So you could do a total immersive experience.
Oh my gosh.
Floors So it's really big in gaming, healthcare, entertainment. Yeah.
So
that's passion now.
From the mental health perspective or the inpatient rehab perspective, how does that work? Like maybe explain that to me. So it's like you put it in your insoles and it vibrates through your body?
Exactly. But at a rehab, I would suggest the floorboards because you don't want to have a bunch of shoes like a bowling alley. So they could just put their shoes, just put it. They can use it for grounding, for resourcing, for EMDR, for all kinds of things.
That is fascinating.
Breakup. You can play U2 A Beautiful Day on the sneakers. And Steve played it and he came in next week and he was like, I had the best week of my life. Every time I heard Beautiful Day. So it's really like a complete immersion. Really great with healthcare implications.
Fascinating.
Especially with the anxiety and PTSD and Alzheimer's and So that's what I do now. And so that's my baby now is Haptech and Start Again. And we have a third feature, which is our nonprofit with a 501c3 and board, and it's called Trauma 2030. And we are working cross-border in Ireland with people affected by the Troubles. And our goal is to work all over the world with thought leaders, governments, mental health, using a trauma-informed language. Our next thing is to go remotely into Gaza and Palestine because I used to work a lot with us. I'm in the Syrian Medical Association. I work a lot in the Middle East. So, so we have the nonprofit branch also. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. It's fascinating.
And so the last thing I'm doing is I also, I have
you sound like me. It's like I've got this and I've got this and this and this.
I know. It's great to diversify. The one pure marketing contract I'm doing right now is with a place in southern Spain, in Marbella called Asgard Sober Living. And it's these Icelandic guys. Asgard is where the gods live in, Norse mythology. And it's a secondary tier, aftercare sober living, which is just amazing on the beach in Marbella. And we're having such great luck there. So I get to go to Iceland and I was just in Sweden for them. And I get to go down to southern Spain and go swimming. It's an amazing place.
Oh my gosh. What an amazing life with so much travel.
I'm really grateful. My goal was to travel. Like that was my favorite thing in life. And so everything I've done, I've been like, how can I do this traveling?
Yeah.
As much as possible.
So I want to talk about the Paris thing a little bit too, but I'm super curious just about like marketing for facilities. You know, I am a certified substance abuse counselor. I have been. I've worked inpatient, outpatient,
Yeah.
many years. Now I'm just private practice, but I had wonderful connections with different people, marketing people / therapists in all these facilities. And I always wondered, like, how do they get these jobs? Cause if, it feels like they would just travel from facility to facility. And they also always helped me coordinate treatment options for whoever I was working with at the time that needed to go inpatient.
Yes.
Running your own practice is hard. That's where Owl Practice swoops in. Owl is a comprehensive, HIPAA-compliant solution created specifically with mental health providers in mind to help you. Meet with your clients virtually through video therapy, manage client appointments and client records seamlessly, streamline your claims process with Owl's integrated insurance and claim capabilities, and communicate with clients securely through Owl's client portal. Let Owl handle the heavy lifting so you can provide quality care to your clients. Visit owlpractice.com/Kym Tolson to claim a special offer of 50% off your first 6 months. But I'm just curious, like, for therapists listening, is this a viable option if a therapist maybe wants to get out of the direct care, but wants to still be involved in treatment and get to travel and share about, marketing residential facilities? Like, is that something a therapist could do if they were listening?
They absolutely can. I think the only thing you need is somewhat of a business background and also the sense of being really outgoing. Like I said to my husband once, I want a job where I get paid to have dinner with people. And he's like, well, honey, I don't know if that exists. And it's like, well,
you're like, yes, it does.
It's like,
it does. I found it. I'm doing it.
Yes. You find programs you really believe in. And I don't know if you know Kurt Garby from California. He's been the marketing guru for about 40 years. He's like the most amazing.
Wow.
And he works for PCH and Visions right now. He's worked everywhere. And he said to me many, many years ago, he said, you're a marketer too. Cause I was an actor in a past life. I went to NYU, Tisch School of the Arts. And
oh my gosh.
So outgoing. And I was like, no, I don't think so. But he trained me. And he and Keith Sherman from Cirque Lodge they're so full of integrity. No matter where any of us worked, if someone called us and they belong somewhere else, we put them somewhere else. That's the key to being a marketer is you serve the client first, the client's best, and you will always work. And, cause people trust you because you're not like trying to fit them in your place. And so that's how you just get so many referrals and so many, cause they know I'm always in the best place. And I know America, Asia, like just where that is, Thailand. Yeah. So that's the main thing is like lead with integrity, know everyone. And you can definitely do it.
You could totally do it. Yeah. I mean, some of the people, I can't even think of their names right now. I would mention them to you. You probably know half the people I worked with, but that was so long ago now. It seems like, but they helped me so much, just as an outpatient therapist specializing in, substance use disorders or whatever. Just like, hey, I've got this person. They've got this insurance,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Help me get them there and help me get them connected to intake and get them going. It was so helpful. People like you that were right there to help me along the way. So I love that. Yeah. So just going back to the Paris thing for a minute.
Yes.
It sounded like you said your husband was born there. So does he have dual citizenship or no, he was American. It means nothing. Okay. Gotcha.
No 14th Amendment. Yeah. There was no,
gotcha.
He's in the same position as me, but we are both applying for citizenship now because as soon as we came, we wanted to be residents and we paid taxes as soon as we got here.
Okay.
So after 5 years, and we're here now 7, you can apply for citizenship. But the new thing is you have to be, I don't know if every country has this. There's different levels of language, A1, A2, B1, B2.
Oh, yes. Yes.
They just changed it and made it harder. You have to be B2.
Oh,
so I'm going to really study this year and we'll apply for citizenship. And it will, like everything, take forever. So my goal is citizenship, or for both of us, French citizenship.
But can you just stay as long as you have that work visa for as long as you want?
Visas. We keep renewing them. I have another appointment. John just passed the B1 exam and got 10-year citizenship. I can't pass the B1 exam yet. But, I live my life in speaking French, but I can't pass the B1 written. So I can 4-year residency visas, work visas.
So if he's a citizen now and you're married, that doesn't just like grandfather you.
No, he's still not. He's a resident. He has 10-year residency. So we're both applying for citizenship. Yeah. But no, unless he was born French. Otherwise.
Yeah.
Like his mom has Irish residency. That doesn't do anything for us. Yeah.
Yes. Gotcha.
Yeah.
So as far as your business entities go, just as a therapist, are you
Yeah.
just strictly seeing clients in France and Europe, or are you seeing clients
No,
back in the United States
no
still, or?
French. I gave up on that
Oh,
because I make a
okay.
lot more just seeing my clients in California because I ended up high-end
Hmm.
treatment. So I'm like, wait, what am I doing? So yeah, so I see clients mostly in California, Taiwan, Hong Kong, Australia,
Mm-hmm.
Middle East. That's my
Okay,
big,
because
yeah.
those places pay better, I'm assuming. Is that the
Yeah,
reason you
well,
chose
yeah,
it?
the high end. Yeah, yeah. I got used to
Yeah,
working. I mean, Promises really set me up. I have them to thank
I
for
bet.
have. Yeah,
They're
yeah.
very, I mean, elite. I mean, everybody knows
Amazing.
promises.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
my
Yeah, I
gosh.
mean, I went from the Indian reservations, which was the best time of my life, to Promises, which is really funny.
That is amazing. Yeah.
Everybody's the same. You realize, okay, we're all in the same pain. Yeah,
Yes, absolutely. Yep.
yeah.
So amazing. So as far as like taxes go, do you have an address that you maintain in California? Do you have to pay taxes to California
I
or
do.
to
I do have
France?
an address because I'm really lucky. We own our place. So he's renting from us but you get an expat exemption. You still pay tax, but you'll get it back. And we just mostly pay.
Oh,
You do not
interesting.
double pay. You don't double pay. At first it
Okay.
seems like you do, but you'll get it back. You don't have to worry about double paying tax. But we
That's
have a
amazing.
in the US we use, and we have an accountant in France. So you do have to double
Mm,
accountant to make sure everything is,
so
done right.
smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, so smart, so smart.
Yep.
And all the work you do in, I guess, Europe and the speaking and all that stuff, is
Yeah.
that considered only taxable in France, or is
Yeah.
that
That's all my
all go
friends.
back to your business?
I
Okay.
keep it all. I try to make everything go into my French account because I want to show them,
Mhm.
that you want me here. That kind of
Yeah, look, I'm bringing money
thing.
in. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So everything goes into my French account. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And a few things I still do, like I still work for Reza, my best friend. I do things for him.
Okay.
That's the American, but it's not that much and I get the tax back anyway, so it's fine.
Hmm. So
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to think, is there anything I haven't asked you about that somebody might want to know, a therapist, if they do want to move to France?
I think on the groups I mean, like anything, of course, you see a lot of misinformation, but
Hmm.
it's a lot easier than people think.
Yeah,
If
it
you
sounds like
hire, if
it.
you get a really good portfolio together, you're going to need to show the country you want to move to that you are bringing your business there. You are not going to
Mm.
suck off their system. You're not going to take a job from a Spanish, German, French person. You're bringing a
Yeah.
business and you can do it. You just have to show you
Right.
find out that country, how much do they need you to make a month,
Hmm.
and then prove
Hmm.
you're going to make it, and get an immigration lawyer. I can't even tell you, it's so worth it. We've been here
Yeah,
7
sounds like
years.
it.
We still use them. He's going
Wow.
with me. We go to the prefecture and they are yelling in French at each other. I could never do that, and it works
Oh my
out. And it's like,
gosh.
yeah, thank God
Wow.
we have them. Yeah, it's so worth
That's
it.
amazing. Yes. Now your daughters, so when you moved there, I'm assuming they were still in school.
Yes.
How did that work? I'm just curious for people that might want to bring their kids. Like,
It was,
what's
I
that
mean, you just
process like?
enroll them in French school and it was really hard. They have an ADUPE. I can't remember what the program is called, but it's like
Mhm.
you slowly integrate into French in the public school system, and,
Oh,
they teach you slower and you kind of like integrate into main classes. Maeve, we found a great bilingual school, and Angus, who's like perfect French now, like off the chart. Like she goes through immigration and she talks to them and they say, can we see your passport? And then they go, you're American? And they're like, you have a
ah,
Asian accent. I'm like, damn. But she took the
uh-huh.
baccalaureate, the international baccalaureate. She
Okay.
got très bien. She did amazing. And she went to bilingual school in Sèvres, right outside, Paris. I remember at the time she goes, do you know what bilingual means? And I was like, what? I thought it was like half English, half French. She goes,
Yeah.
every single class is in French. Every class I take is in French. There's 2 extra classes in English to help people learn English. And I was like, oh, sorry.
Whoa. You're like, sorry.
I look up to them so much. They did
Oh,
it. It was
that's
amazing.
amazing.
Yeah.
They must be
They,
amazing
their French
kids.
is amazing. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
My
Oh
husband's
my
French
gosh.
is really good. I sadly have got to catch up. This
I
is
would be in
much harder.
trouble. I would be in
Yeah.
trouble if I had to learn a new language. I
Oh,
don't
I
think I
know.
could do.
At this age, I'm telling you, it's hard, but
Yeah.
it's, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we
Oh
just
my gosh.
travel. I can't, it was the best thing we ever did. It's so like, every summer we spend a month down the Riviera. We spent like in Cannes or in Nice, and like I've been to Iceland 5 times. It's just, I love it here so much. I every day. I'm like, John said the best thing. He goes, it'll still be life, and we'll move here and we'll still have problems, but we'll be surrounded by Paris while we have them.
Yes.
I walk around like,
makes it way better. Yeah.
I love it here so much. Yeah. We go to the prefecture and I say to them, I go, j'aime la France comme si c'était une personne. I love France as if it was a person. And they're like, okay.
They're like, okay, lady.
Like, okay. Do you have this form? Like, Jesus.
Oh, that's amazing.
I love it here. Like I'm still a tourist. I do every.
Yeah. I love when you post pictures in the traveling therapist group. You're like, I can't believe I live here. These beautiful pictures in Paris. It's like, I can't either. It's amazing.
I'm so grateful. We're never going back. I've been back so few times. I shouldn't say it.
Go ahead.
All right. I love America. I'm kidding, but I say to my kids, I want to make a TikTok as a joke, like me getting off the plane and then a little TikTok seeing the American flag when I visit and just me crying.
Oh my gosh.
I'm kidding. I love America, but it's a joke. It's like, I do not ever want to go back. I love France so much. And in the EU and
Oh,
it was the best decision I ever made, really.
It's so cool to just be able to just country hop, really, over there. Just go to all the different countries.
Yeah.
It's neat.
Yeah. We go to Italy all the time. And do you remember that movie, Call Me by Your Name? That was really famous. Timothy Chalamet. It's a great movie. My daughter saw it. Very LGBTQ, amazing movie. They were like, I want to see Crema. It's a little town in Italy in the middle of nowhere. Last summer we spent a week in Crema and went everywhere that they shot Call Me by Your Name.
How cool is that? Oh my gosh. Yeah. That is amazing.
Amazing. Yeah.
I love it. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much for sharing all this, even your inspiration around the speaking and the marketing and these other products you're developing. Like, really, hopefully is going to inspire people listening to know you could branch out. You don't have to just be a therapist. You know, you could make it work.
10 clients now. I was like, I have 10 all of a sudden. Yeah.
Yeah. I can relate. Mine are slowly drifting off, and I'm not putting it in anyone's in. Yeah.
Yep. And also, and being in our own therapy. I've never not been in therapy. It's so important.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And making that work. I mean, I guess being grounded there in Paris, you're able to probably see somebody, or maybe, where is your therapist? How do you manage that? I'm just curious.
USA. I have the weirdest hours. Yeah. I'll send out an email and somebody will write back because it's timestamped. Like, did you send this at 3 a.m.? I'm like, it's embarrassing. Like, I woke up and thought of it,
That's how my emails are too.
Weird hours. I see people sometimes at 7 a.m. or I'll have a meeting at midnight. I don't mind. Yeah.
I hear you. Gosh. Thank you so much. So if people wanted to reach out to you, to talk to you or work with you, how would they find you?
I gave you all my my website on there, all my little contacts. Yeah, they can see more about Haptech or Asgard. I gave you all the websites. Yeah.
Perfect. I'll put them in the show notes, and
anybody can reach out to me. I'll tell you how to move here to Europe.
Okay. Excellent. Absolutely. Yeah. That's great. And you're in the Facebook group if anybody listening is in there.
I am. Yeah.
She's super helpful when people ask questions about.
Thank you so much.
How you're making it work. You're welcome. Thank you for taking the time.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening to the Traveling Therapist podcast. For show notes, links, and downloads, head over to thetravelingtherapist.com, where you'll be able to learn more about my journey, the courses I've created for you, and other exciting resources to make your dreams become a reality. If you've enjoyed this episode, please share with your traveling therapist friends, subscribe to the podcast, and if you love this episode, please leave a review.